The box sat on the table between the water glasses. Wrapped in silver paper. My mom pushed it toward me with one finger. "Open it, honey," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. My brother held up his camera. The red light blinked. Recording. Inside wasn't jewelry or money or anything normal. It was papers. Legal papers. The words at the top said, "Notice of family separation." They were kicking me out. Making it official. My graduation gift was being thrown away. I picked up the papers, folded them carefully, and put them in my bag. "Thanks," I said quietly. Then I stood up and walked toward the door. They thought they won. They had no idea what was coming. Stay until the end. You'll see how everything changed. When I was little, I learned that hugs in my house had rules. My dad, Richard Moore, only hugged you when you got good grades or won something. My mom, Patricia, only smiled when other people were watching. My brother, Jason, got both whenever he wanted. At family dinners, they always talked about him first. "Jason just got promoted at his job," Mom would say, touching his shoulder like he was made of gold. Then she'd look at me. "And this is Maya. She's still in school." Her voice got quieter when she said my name. Like saying it too loud was embarrassing. People would nod, look at me for 1 second, then look away. I learned to sit quietly and eat my food. Our living room always smelled like pine sol and disappointment. The big lamp hanging from the ceiling made shadows dance on the walls. I used to count them while Dad talked about his work and Mom talked about people she wanted to impress. Jason was perfect at fitting in. He knew when to laugh, when to nod, when to look interested. I watched him like I was studying for a test. Every move he made got him praise. Every word I said got ignored. So I stopped talking. Instead, I got a job at a bookstore near my school. The smell of old books was nicer than home. People came in, found what they needed, and left happy. Simple, honest, fair. One Saturday after work, I came home to find Jason in the kitchen with Dad. They were drinking soda and laughing. "We were just talking about you," Dad said. "Jason thinks your job is a waste of time." Jason shrugged. "I mean, it's fine for experience, I guess." His words felt like tiny cuts, small but sharp. "I'm paying for my books," I said softly. Dad waved his hand like he was swatting a fly. "Books don't make money, Maya. Real jobs do." I wanted to tell him I understood money better than anyone in this house. That I could track numbers and solve problems and build things that mattered. But he was already turning back to Jason. After that day, I stopped trying to join their conversations. I just watched, listened, took notes in my head. But there was one day I thought things might be different. I won a writing contest. Big one. $5,000 and my story printed in a real magazine. I showed them the email. Check. The magazine cover. Mom looked at it for 3 seconds. "That's nice, sweetie. We have a dinner party tonight. Can we celebrate tomorrow?" Tomorrow never came. That was the night I understood something important. In my family, attention was like candy. They only gave it to Jason. I was invisible. I remember the sound of their wine glasses clinking that night. Perfect. Musical. Like the house was celebrating me not existing. That night I learned my place. Somewhere between forgotten and ignored. 3 days before graduation, a message popped up in our family group chat. A link to a restaurant reservation. The Belmont Room. The same fancy place Mom booked for everything important that didn't involve me. The message was simple. Graduation dinner for Maya. Dress nice. No hearts. No excitement. Just words. Click the link. The reservation said, more family party of 3. Not 4. 3. They forgot to count me. Again. Later, Jason texted me privately. "Don't worry about it. It's just a computer mistake." Mistake. That word stuck in my brain like gum on a shoe. That's how they saw me. An error that needed fixing. That night I sat at my desk. The streetlights outside made everything look orange and far away. My email was full of messages. From teachers. From contest judges. From people who said my writing mattered. But none of it felt real when the people who were supposed to love me acted like I didn't exist. I looked at old family photos on my phone. Vacations, holidays, birthday parties, Mom's perfect hair, Dad's fake smile, Jason's confident pose. Me, always at the edge, half in the picture, half cut off. It wasn't new. I just never seen it so clearly before. The next morning I got an email from my English teacher, Mrs. Rivera. She said a publisher wanted to meet me. They'd read my contest story. They wanted to talk about turning it into a book. Real book. She wrote, "This is your moment, Maya. Take it. Take it." Those words felt like a rope thrown to someone drowning. I closed my laptop and breathed deep. Sunlight came through my window in straight lines. I looked around my room. Everything was organized. My notebooks stacked by color. My pens in a jar. My papers in folders. My life wasn't messy. It was organized. Just not by them anymore. Smiled. The kind of smile you make when you know something no one else knows. The night before the dinner, rain hit my window hard. The glass shook with each drop. Inside my room, everything was calm. Papers in order. Computer screen glowing soft blue. Made tea. The smell filled the air, warm and safe. My fingers moved across the keyboard. Each word I typed was a step forward. A step away from them. I'd stopped trying to make them understand me months ago. Understanding was for people who wanted to listen. Proof was for people who wanted to be remembered. So I kept proof. Every contest entry. Every award certificate. Every email from my teacher. Every chapter of my book. What started as homework for English class had turned into something real. A story about a girl who felt invisible until she found her voice. My friend Emma helped me edit it. My friend Carlos designed a cover. And I, the bookstore worker who nobody noticed, wrote every single word. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. The breakthrough came one morning before sunrise. I wrote the last sentence of my book. I stared at it on the screen. And finally, she realized she'd been visible all along. Just not to them. Proof. Real solid proof. When my teacher submitted my book to publishers, 3 of them responded. 3. One of them, Clearwater Press, called me on the phone. A woman named Jennifer Park said, "Your voice is exactly what young readers need. We want to publish your book." She offered me money. Not a lot, but enough. Enough to prove I could do something real. After we hung up, I just sat there, staring at my phone. I didn't cry or jump around. I just breathed. Finally. From that moment I started keeping everything. I saved every email, every contract, every payment record. I printed them out and put them in a folder. The kind of folder that doesn't just tell a story. Proves one. The night I got the final contract with a publishing date, I printed it. The sound of the paper coming out of the printer was better than applause. That's when I opened the family group chat for the first time in weeks. The last message was from Mom. A photo of Jason at some fancy work event. The caption said, "Couldn't be more proud." Type back. Simple. Clear. "See you at graduation dinner." No emojis. No explanation. Then I cleaned my room the way I always did before big moments. Everything in its place. Every item where it belonged. On my desk sat my book contract, my graduation certificate, and an old birthday card Mom gave me years ago. It said, "To my little dreamer," in her handwriting. I put the new papers on top of it. Fresh ink. Heavy paper. Midnight came quietly. Closed my laptop. Poured the last of my tea. Watched the streetlights flicker outside. I thought about tomorrow's dinner. Their smiles. Camera. The performance. For the first time I wasn't scared. They were bringing their own papers, thinking they were ending my story. What they didn't know was I'd already written a better ending myself. I fell asleep thinking about that. The rain stopped. The silence after felt like the calm before something big. The next morning I woke up while it was still dark. The first light hit my desk, making the paperclip on my contract shine. I touched it lightly, grounding myself. I didn't dress for them. I dressed for me. Simple clothes, hair pulled back, Nothing fancy. The kind of look that doesn't beg to be noticed but refuses to be forgotten. Before I left, I lined up my teacup next to my laptop. Exactly 1 inch from the edge. Habit. Order. Proof. I locked my door behind me. The streets were still wet from last night's rain. Puddles reflected the sky. My reflection looked back at me from a car window. Ready. Someone I recognized. When I got near the Belmont room, I stopped outside the glass doors. Inside I could see the chandeliers. Profile. The way Jason tilted his phone to get the perfect angle. Breathed once. Steady. They thought tonight was their show. They didn't know I'd already written the script. This time I wasn't walking into their story. I was walking into mine. The hostess smiled when she saw me. More party, she asked. She looked confused when she checked the list and my name wasn't there. Yes, I said. They're expecting me. Inside it smelled like expensive food and cold air conditioning. My family sat at a corner table under a sparkly chandelier. Mom waved like we were best friends. Jason lifted his phone slightly, framing the shot. Maya, sweetheart, Mom said in her fake sweet voice. We have something special for you. A waiter appeared and set a white envelope next to my plate. Dad cleared his throat. His voice filled the space like he was giving a speech. It's time we all moved forward, he said. Mom smiled bigger. From all of us, she added. Jason's camera caught everything. The envelope sliding across the table. My face. Emotionless. I opened it slowly. The paper was thick. Official looking. We, the undersigned, release all family responsibilities regarding Maya Moore. It was signed by all 3 of them. Perfect signatures. Practice. This was my graduation gift. Table watched. Waiting for me to cry. Yell. To make a scene. But I'd already lived through the hard part. The years of being ignored. This was just paperwork. I folded the paper once. Then placed it next to my water glass. Thank you, I said. My voice was calm. Even. Jason blinked. You're thanking us. I looked at him. Direct. The air got tight. Uncomfortable. Dad shifted in his seat. Mom's hand froze halfway to her wine glass. Jason lowered his phone. Unsure what he was recording anymore. Maya, Mom said softly. You don't have to be difficult. But I was already reaching into my bag. I pulled out my own folder. Simple. Ray. Professional. I placed it on the table and opened it toward them. Inside was the publishing contract. The Clearwater Press logo clear and official. Below it my name. Author Maya Moore. Publication date. Next spring. Nobody spoke. The background music kept playing. Someone somewhere was having a normal dinner. Not us. Jason leaned forward reading fast. This is yours. Yes. Dad frowned. The kind of frown he made when investments went wrong. You wrote a book. Yes. And they're publishing it, I said quietly. Mom tried to find words. Her mouth opened. Closed. We didn't know. I know, I said. That was the first time I'd ever seen Mom speechless. Jason's phone was still in his hand. But the red recording light was off. Dad reached for his wine but his hand shook. Just a little. Just enough. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't smile. I just stood up. You can keep your letter, I said, sliding their disownment papers back across the table. I already have my own. The meaning hit them slowly. Perfectly. Behind me I heard Jason whisper something. Maybe sorry. Maybe wow. I didn't turn around. As I walked toward the door, the restaurant's piano music filled the silence they left behind. Paused at the doorway. One hand on the frame. The street lights reflecting in the glass ahead. In that reflection I saw them still sitting there. Surrounded by the world they built. Genie. Perfect. Me. Outside the air was colder than I expected. Smelled like rain and freedom. Check my phone. New emails from my publisher. Messages from my teacher. Notifications from a blog that wanted to interview me. Proof. All of it. Timestamp. The envelope in my hand felt lighter now. Just paper. Nothing more. They'd given me their silence for years. Tonight I gave it back. Perfected. The night air felt clean. Dark. Like it could wash away everything from inside that restaurant. The city moved around me. Cars. People. Life happening everywhere. I walked slowly, my footsteps echoing on the sidewalk. Each step felt lighter. When I got home, the sky was turning purple with early morning light. Soft light came through my blinds, painting lines on the floor. I set their envelope on the counter next to my graduation certificate. Their letter looked small beside mine. 2 pieces of paper. 2 versions of who I was. One they erased. One they couldn't touch. I made tea like always, pouring it slow. Steady. The cup clicked softly on the table. That sound had become my rhythm. Measured. Controlled. Live. I didn't read their letter again. It had already done its job. A timestamp marking the exact moment I stopped needing their approval. Now it sat on my counter. Flat. Powerless. Between achievements they couldn't delete. My phone buzzed once. Text from Jason. We messed up. Can we talk? I stared at it for a long time. The dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then I turned the phone face down. Some messages don't need answers. They just need to sit in silence. The light got warmer. Outside the city woke up. Delivery trucks. Joggers. The sound of another normal day starting. I opened the window. Let the air in. Somewhere below, a bus squeaked to a stop. Loud. Honest. Real. In the reflection on the glass, I saw a girl who didn't need to explain herself anymore. A girl who existed whether they saw her or not. I picked up their letter one last time, folded it neatly, and slid it into a drawer. Not hidden. Just filed away. Evidence of what was. Proof of what changed. The air in the room felt steady. My shoulders did too. Silence finally didn't feel lonely. It felt earned. Winning doesn't sound like cheering. Sounds like breathing in a quiet room. The kind of silence you choose. Not the kind forced on you. Families can break you loudly. Peace rebuilds you quietly. They erased me from their story. But I became the chapter they can never skip. Some stories don't end with hugs and apologies. They end with clarity. With knowing your worth. If you've ever been the invisible one, the one everyone forgot about, this story is for you. Because sometimes silence isn't giving up. It's gathering strength. Sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one who changes everything. And sometimes the best revenge is simply becoming everything they said you couldn't be. Welcome to the Masked Bonds, where hidden truths finally break free. Thanks for watching until the end. If this story touched you, let me know in the comments. And remember, your worth isn't determined by who sees you. It's determined by who you choose to become. Subscribe for more stories of strength, truth, and transformation.